Today, we'd like to tackle a topic that has to do more with people rather than protocols and checklists. Specifically, we would like to talk about behavior, changing behavior, and the mindset of individuals towards health and safety. Behavior-based safety is the future of health and safety in South Africa, so this is an important topic that needs to be discussed. Hello and welcome to My Safety Hub, your source for all things health and safety. I'm Orchid Fourie, and I'm thrilled to take you on this journey with regards to the transformative approach, which is BBS or behavior-based safety. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Safety Wallet for sponsoring a segment of today's content. At its core, behavior-based safety is focused on our attitudes, our beliefs, and the way we essentially think about health and safety in the workplace. This means that as a collective effort, behavior-based safety should be applied not only because policies dictate it, but because we need to make sure that everybody plays a role correctly when it comes to the tasks or responsibilities they need to carry out in the workplace. Ultimately, the question becomes, why is this so important? And the reason for this is that most, if not all, incidents or accidents that happen in the workplace are related in some way at least to a behavior that was carried out immediately or before the incident itself took place. By fostering a health and safety culture which identifies, rewards, and reinforces health and safety behaviors in the workplace, we're not only creating and fostering the health and safety culture itself, but we're also saving lives. With this being said, it doesn't mean that South Africa is without its challenges when it comes to health and safety culture in the workplace. Unfortunately, the current scenario in South Africa is that there are still many workplaces that have a closed-minded approach towards health and safety and creating a health and safety culture at work. From dominant attitudes to inferiority complexes being applied once confronted with health and safety concerns, requests, or instructions, these barriers provide an issue or a problem towards the cultivation or creation of a health and safety culture at work. So what is the solution to these barriers or different ways of thinking negatively with regards to health and safety or the creation of a health and safety culture? One of these solutions is called the Mindset Evolution Schema, which has been developed by Safety Wallet. It's a progressive model that takes you through various stages of communication and influence, whereby you would be able to understand the challenges or barriers as seen or experienced by the individuals that you are working with. But also it creates an opportunity for you to be able to engage with these individuals in a proactive manner, so to influence them with regards to the way that they are approaching health and safety and the way that they are thinking about health and safety. Ultimately, the Mindset Evolution Schema leads to behavioral change, which would influence the habits and naturally the way that people are thinking about health and safety at work. Any and every organization needs to have HR-related policies to enforce behaviors at work. And these policies are important because they lay the groundwork for everything that we need to do and how we function in the workplace. Some of these policies naturally would include disciplinary policies by nature, which are there to protect the organization from employees which may be acting in such a manner that may bring harm to the brand or the company itself. The Mindset Evolution Schema is there to take a different approach. Sport persons, professionals, people that come to work perform better when they want to go to work, when they want to play the sport, when they want to do well, not only because they're being told to do so. Think about it. If you wake up in the morning and you decide that you want to go to work because it's something that you truly enjoy, that's a choice that you make. It's a habit that you've created, and it's something that you would like to carry out, not something that you have to carry out, therefore not being forced to do. And again, this is where the Mindset Evolution Schema comes in.
Begin your journey to safety mastery with the Safety Wallet PPP Health and Safety Management System Training Certificate. Dive deep into the development and implementation of health and safety policies, learn to create effective procedures, and master the application of safe practices in your workplace. Safety Wallet doesn't stop there. With the innovative Mindset Evolution Schema, you'll explore 5 critical areas: behavioral adjustment, knowledge empowerment, perception exploration, rapport cultivation, and influence network. Experience the practical application of these components in real-world scenarios get introduced to neuro-linguistic programming techniques, and gain insights into Safety Wallet's subscription platform. The course spans over 4 weeks with 2-hour virtual class sessions every Monday to Thursday. So why wait? Start your safety transformation today. Enroll now at www.safetywallet.co.za. Your path to a safer, healthier work environment is just one click away.
The MES or Mindset Evolution Schema is aimed at creating those habits with the individuals that you work with, so that they see things differently, specifically health and safety, but also would want to work in a safe manner to protect themselves and others around them. The Mindset Evolution Schema consists of 5 different stages, which progressively interact with one another, and which can actually be activated or used in a single conversation. The 5 different stages or parts of the Mindset Evolution Schema are the behavior adjustment, the knowledge empowerment, the perception exploration, the rapport cultivation, and the influence network. Let's have a deep dive into each of these stages and how they interlink with one another. To use the Mindset Evolution Schema successfully, you would need to start at the top. And the behavior adjustment is naturally the desired behavior that we want from employees or persons to carry out safely at work. Naturally, when we engage with people and we ask them to behave or carry out certain activities or tasks in a certain manner, it isn't always successful. In fact, the top stage of the Mindset Evolution Schema is the part which is mostly unsuccessful when trying to adjust or change or influence behaviors with individuals. This means that we would have to consider other avenues or strategies when trying to adjust such behaviors or ways of thinking with regards to health and safety or the tasks being carried out, which brings us to the next stage, the knowledge empowerment. Knowledge empowerment is all about teaching. It's all about bringing the information to the individual in such a form or fashion that it makes sense to them why they would need to adjust or change the behaviors that they have been carrying out incorrectly in terms of their health and safety related to the work that they have been doing. Unfortunately, knowledge empowerment or imparting information to other individuals isn't always successful by itself. There could still be resistance from the individual as they feel that they've been carrying out these responsibilities for a long time, or they may feel that they are superior to the policies or practices or procedures that have been laid down within the health and safety management system. And as such, you may not be successful in changing those behaviors with those individuals yet. This brings us to the third stage or level within the Mindset Evolution Schema, perception exploration. Perception exploration is all about listening. It's about paying attention to the details that are being imparted to you from the individuals that you are trying to influence. If we have a one-sided conversation when we're trying to correct behavior or change behaviors, or when we impart knowledge to other individuals, that's not a relationship. No rapport will be built and no trust will be developed. So we have to be able to listen and to understand why certain behaviors or tasks or activities are being carried out in a certain fashion, which may be incorrect in terms of what the health and safety rules and guidelines are dictating. But we have to understand why this is being done in a certain fashion so that we can get to the root of the issue. Now, once we've gained the information that we need from the individuals that we are trying to influence, and if we are still unsuccessful in trying to impart why they need to adjust their behaviors in a certain way, we have to allow ourselves the opportunity to understand the individual a little better. Now, some of us might refer to this as building rapport or building relationships, but ultimately it's purely about understanding the person within the context, naturally, of what it is that they would need to do or carry out, or with regards to the objectives that they would need to reach. So rapport cultivation is all about making sure that I understand you and you understand me within the context and the guidelines and the framework that has been created for the work that needs to be done. Unfortunately, still, it might be possible that even though you and I or two individuals may get along very well, we're still not changing the behavior that would need to be changed to do the work safely. And this brings us to the final stage in the Mindset Evolution Schema, which has to do with the influence network. The influence network, just like we have with the rapport cultivation, is all about making sure that we build relationships, but in this case, building relationships with others, other people that have influence over the individual in question, making sure that we can share the concerns, the issues, the guidelines that need to be followed with regards to the behaviors to be carried out. So that maybe we can have an opportunity where these other persons of influence can assist us to influence the person that would need to change their behavior. Now, like I've mentioned before, the mindset evolution schema and all 5 of its stages can all be applied in a single moment, in a single conversation, where 2 people don't agree with regards to a certain task, behavior, or guideline to be applied in terms of health and safety. The health and safety officer, as an example, might be trying to change the behavior of the person doing the work in an unsafe manner, and they start up a conversation. Within that conversation, the health and safety officer is trying to change the behavior instantly. That doesn't work. So now he tries to explain and teach the person about why it's important to apply the safety measures or to follow the guidelines that have been prescribed. And that's still unsuccessful, but yet the conversation continues, and the person in question is possibly justifying as to why they're doing the work a certain way, which, according to the guidelines, are still incorrect. But the safety officer has an opportunity to at least listen and understand why things are happening the way they are. Now it's about making sure that we can build rapport and trust. So the conversation continues. But within the conversation, the safety officer realizes he would probably not be able to change the behaviors which are incorrect. So past them walks the supervisor, and the safety officer calls in the supervisor and asks his advice or opinions with regards to the safety guidelines that have been prescribed, the policies that have been approved, and the procedures that have been implemented regarding the specific task being carried out by this employee in question. And the supervisor would naturally support those guidelines because probably his signature is on the appointment letters or the other documentations that have been created or set up as well. Suddenly, the message hits home. And the safety officer can now further the conversation and build more rapport and trust with the individual in question, in saying that if your supervisors underwrite or underscore these principles, surely you can understand why it's important for the business as a whole and not just for you. Do you understand why? And we can move back up the triangle or move back up the process of mindset evolution schema from in the influence network back to the behavior adjustment, one stage at a time, where currently we are at a perception exploration, in listening to the individual as to whether they understand what has been communicated to them and what was supported by the specific supervisor. Now, once we get back to the level of knowledge empowerment, we have an opportunity to reiterate or at least to reinforce the messages that we've been trying to impart in the same conversation. So the safety officer would refer back to the same guidelines that he was trying to impart at the beginning of the conversation. And now, once the employee has been reinforced and they've now experienced the fact that it's not only a principle or a message that's underscored by the single safety officer, it's a business guideline. We can now monitor the individual in question and to see whether they have adjusted their behaviors according to the guidelines that have been prescribed to them. Now, what are these guidelines and where do they come from? And how does the mindset evolution schema support them? The mindset evolution schema forms part of the P health and safety management system, which is on offer from Safety Wallet. It's at the heart of the communication and the change management to be applied to make sure that the P system can be implemented successfully from the top down, which is the buy-in from top management, but also from the bottom up, in making sure that from an operational level, people understand and will carry out those guidelines and policies and procedures as they have been approved. As you can see, the mindset evolution schema is a powerful tool that is designed to dissect barriers or problems and work towards the successful outcomes or goals that would need to be achieved in creating not only a safe workplace, but to building a health and safety culture at work. Ultimately, what you would like to do, or the goal that you would like to reach, is to create a habitual change, where persons act differently naturally, but they act in a safe way. And this would not only create a health and safety culture or a different way of thinking collectively about health and safety, it would also lead to healthy and safer communities. In South Africa, we're seeing a compelling shift towards a safety-first culture in workplaces. Employers are no longer first looking at only hazards and risks, but they're also considering the behaviors or ways of thinking that they desire from their employees when that work is performed. I think that we need to consider and make it clear that this is the future of health and safety, not only in South Africa, but most probably over the world. A future within health and safety where not only CEOs are signing off policies, but where everybody in the organization is doing the things they're doing the right way and the safe way because they choose to, not because they have to. If you enjoyed today's video, please remember to hit the subscribe button and also to like and share the content on other platforms. Things like that really do help the channel and we appreciate it. Once again, thank you to Safety Wallet for sponsoring a segment of today's content. As always, stay safe, stay inspired, and until next time, take care.